Well, hello and welcome to another week on my allotment. This video will be slightly different to most because I'm going to put bits of film from the whole week together because rather than spending a whole day up here so far, I've spent a few hours here and there. I've taken a few shots and I'll put them together and we'll see what we get. So welcome along for the week. I hope you find it interesting. No particular theme. Lots of little odd jobs that need doing as beds become clear. They need mulching. Things are starting to slow down. The runner beans, the courgettes. One of the courgette plants stopped producing completely, and the leaves have all dropped. So that can be cleared out. Little odds and sods. I tend to get here, make a cup of tea, and wander down the plot. And I think, oh yeah, that needs doing. Oh, better sort that out. And that's how I come up with my master plan. So I hope you enjoy. And I'm off for a cup of tea. I've decided to start cutting off the butternut squashes, the ones that have gone the sort of what is it, light brown colour, khaki. How odd is that? Very persistent wasp. Yeah, I've decided to cut them. Sorry, I was distracted. I'm going to cut them off and I'm going to take them home and put them in my greenhouse to cure. So let's make a start. Well, I've picked out the ones that are just about ready, and it's only a fraction of the actual crop, so I'm very pleased, very pleased. I think that's probably the best crop I've had this year is the squashes. So yeah, very pleased. Obviously, wildly different sizes, but that's okay. I'll give a few away to friends. There's a lady I know I work for who loves butternut, but she always complains they're too big in the shop, so I can give her some of those smaller ones and she'll be very happy. And Cheryl uses them all in roasts and in soups particularly, so very happy. I'm going to put those on the table at the end of the plot, and I shall be taking those home to put in the greenhouse where they can harden off. Wonderful. Well, that's a crying shame, but that's the potatoes that I dug out of this plot. Kerr's pink, and they are all unusable. They have so many holes in them and some of them are rotten. But these things happen, and it's how you react to it that counts, as they say in the motivational guidebooks. And I've still got 2 rows there that I haven't dug out. Well, it's Monday, and so it's a working day, but I've got the day off, my long weekend, and Steve from two plots down has just come up in his works van and dropped off this drum for me. He said it's a present, which I'm thrilled with. But he says, no, the drum's not the present really, it's what's inside. So obviously I looked inside, and he's obviously chopped up a load of old pallets, and it'll make fantastic firewood. It's untreated, so I think it's untreated, certainly looks it, so I'm thrilled to bits. Even if I sat up in my shed 24 hours a day over the winter, I don't think I could burn all the wood I've got now. It's fantastic. So thank you very much to Steve for thinking of me, and I don't know whether he did this or he got one of his fellas to do it, but somebody's put some real effort in, and I'm going to assume it's Steve. So, and this will make a nice little occasional table in the shed, although he tells me Nicky's already got me one of them. You've got to love people, haven't you? Good people doing thoughtful things. Well, I've finished for today, but I don't think that'll be the end of the video. I think I'll do the next video, over several days, little bite-sized pieces. So I'm done for the day. Cheryl's been up and we've gone for lunch in the farm shop, which was nice. And she did a bit of deadheading and picked some raspberries, and now she's gone. She's gone home, well, she's gone to do some shopping, I believe. And I've just picked a few more bits for tea tonight. And I'm going to follow her on shortly. But I just thought I'd mention about the leeks. I did have a question about rust, and this is Musselburgh, the leek, and they are all starting to get rust now, which is a little bit early. I'm a bit concerned because obviously, you know, we eat the leeks through the winter. However, you can only deal with what you've got, and the rust is developing. But what I find, and I wanted to show you this here, is that this leek, I've cut off the roots and I've cut off the tops which aren't needed, and this is the main usable part of the leek, as you can tell. And I don't know if you can see down there, I've peeled off a couple of layers, but there's still some markings there of the rust. And all you've got to do is simply just keep taking layers off, which of course, you know, it means the leek gets smaller, but you know, eventually you get to the point where the skin is clean, and at that point, you know, that's what you use. So like all these things, you just have to work around it, find another option, and it just means a little more preparation and a slightly smaller leek as you take off the layers that are affected, but they taste fantastic. So I don't worry about the rust. I can't do anything about it. I've planted them very widely apart, and you know, they develop rust. I've never seen a leek that doesn't. I don't know how these people grow leeks for showing. I suppose they've got them in polytunnels and they nurture them and mollycoddle them and love them, and I just stick these in the ground and they get on with it. So there is a difference, I guess, but they are still perfectly good, usable leeks, even though, you know, the outer leaves have rust. So what happens through the winter, if it gets worse, remains to be seen, but for now everything's okay. So that's it for today, and I'll see you again later in the week. Evening meal sorted. Well, as I mentioned, I'm busy picking my butternuts, and I have a question for all you horticulturalists out there. What's going on here? Both plants planted on the same day back in April. Not sure whereabouts on the, you know, whether that's the first one that grew or that's the last, but you know, planted on the same day. Gotta love it, haven't you? As if ever there was proof needed, size matters. Both beautiful things. Those carrot tubs were on those bricks, but I suspect that the reason the carrots are really small is that even before that shed was there, those tubs were in the shade, and it's now mid-afternoon and they're just, you can see by the bricks, the shade is starting to swing round. So, excuse me puffing, I've just moved those tubs from those bricks and I've made an area for them so I don't have to weed it with those old fence panels. And I've got 2 more tubs that need cutting down, and I'm going to put them on the end there, and that's where I'll grow my carrots each year, hopefully, if they germinate. Of course, we all love weather like this, but when it hasn't rained for weeks, like it hasn't now, it means you've got to water lots of the crops. And I have no idea how many trips I make, but to do the whole plot, I don't water everything. It takes me about 2 hours of constant to and fro. I have never counted how many times I've been and how much weight I've carried, but it'd be interesting to know. Anyway, it's all worthwhile in the end. Well, up to now, since these were put in the ground, these Brussels sprouts, I've had this Enviromesh covering them. But I think the Enviromesh is now self-defeating because the insects are inside it. So were butterflies. And actually, if you look at the leaves, it's creating that smut, which as I understand it, is simply insect poo. So I've taken the mesh off. I'll accept a bit of damage from the cabbage white, but it means there'll be a better circulation of air. The insects aren't contained within. I can clear off the bottom leaves, and I think the plants will be healthier. But the main news is that inside there is a really good crop of Brussels sprouts. Wonderful. I've made a start clearing the lower leaves to allow a flow of air and to clear all the debris and the dead leaves out, but it's a slow job and it's a sticky one because of all the insect muck. But there's a really good crop of Brussels sprouts in here. Really pleased. Let's hope I can just support them so they don't fall over. Well, I'm sorry if my head's covered in muck, but getting down under those Brussels sprouts, where all the insect muck and debris was quite a messy job. I've just had to wash my hands in the trough because they were so sticky. But I'm really pleased I've done it, and there's lots of Brussels sprouts there, so we should get a good crop. I just hope they don't all go over before Christmas, because they do seem to be ready quite early. Anyway, that's me finished up here for the evening. I'm going home for my tea. So on this glorious autumn evening, thank you very much for watching. Thank you to those who have subscribed. Please hit the like button, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.